a 10-kilometer race.
Well,
7 minutes, that's a
didn't-
whole kilometer of a lead for the number one.
And didn't she beat some superstar, Melanie Lafenetre? Did she beat her
She
as well?
beat Melanie Lafenetre, a world champion, the week previous to that in a local race.
Incredible stats. Well,
Now-
we love that. But
now we've
talk us
got-
through what's happening now, Rob.
Well, now this is our third race of the morning that's going to start. All these were staggered 5 minutes apart. We have our men's master 50 plus that just cranked it up, and you can see already a nice draft train forming on the left there, and some individuals essentially trying to catch that right now before they get lost in a 10K race here. Let's see who we have up front.
Well, I see a starboard, and I wouldn't be surprised if Mr. Gabor Szabo would be already at the front. We would definitely recognize that red lightboard corp hollow board. Mr. Peter Weidert is definitely there. He is the defending champion, 2023 world champion. We've got Mr. Larry Kane, and it is indeed Mr. Gabor Szabo from Hungary in first right now. So we've got Hungary, Germany, and Canada right there in our top three, just after 150 meters into the 10-kilometer race.
Wow, look at Larry Kane. He is just looks like he's out for a Sunday morning paddle. His stroke is just, this is an Olympian, this man. And I think he's 61, maybe, definitely over 60. But he is just paddling beautifully. What he doesn't know about the paddle stroke is not worth talking about. So we've got a great train here, Matty.
And nice that he's, I bet he's excited that he's in the front right now because he knows he can set the pace.
We have a new leader, actually. Yes, Larry Kane and Peter Weidert, but there's a newcomer at the front. It is Mark Forrester on the left-hand side with a red hat. Mark Forrester, who was unlucky in his technical race final yesterday, falling down for a second time. He did an amazing semi-final race where the same thing happened, but he actually managed to qualify in the top two to the A final. Same thing happened in the big final. A few hours later, unfortunately, the competition was too much for him to actually make a podium like last year. He was also on the podium last year in the long distance in third place behind Daniel Pares, who is the big name missing from this 50-plus men's competition this year. Daniel Pares, who will only take part in the inflatable race later on.
I just wondered whether that was Steve Miller lying in fourth place. He's unfortunately got his hydration pack over his bib number, but we can recognise him.
Oh boy.
He looks a little bit like Packet Casey, but we've got these paddlers. These are the
40-plus men making their first turn around
coming
the
along,
backside.
and you've got those very distinctive lightboard core. You've got Christian Tower on the right-hand side, top of your screen. You'll be able to recognise him by that board alone. He's, again, a very tall paddler.
Behind Francisco Giusti from Argentina and Hugh van Backel, the same top three leading from pretty much the start. We've got two SIC Maui riders in the chase. That is Ryohei Yoshida. I wonder who's that paddler wearing a white hat. I still haven't identified him. It could be Pierre Alain Debois, unless it is Roberto Canedo, the Spaniard. It could be Roberto Canedo from Valladolid, Spain. Actually, yeah, it is, because Pierre Alain Debois is much, much further, probably sitting in 15th place right now.
Nice shot of these OC Christmas trees that we have here.
Absolutely.
This whole area, quite honestly, is just lit up like Christmas. There are 800 lit up palm trees that are all within 5 minutes where all the athletes are staying, which is really cool to see.
Beautiful. Actually, the Nathan Benderson Park is beaming with that sunshine, blue sky, no wind, perfect conditions for a long distance race today.
And let's give a shout out to our sponsors. So we've got Visit Sarasota County and Bradenton, Anna Maria Island and Longboat Key. So if you are coming this way, please visit. This is a purpose-built water sports centre, not only for the locals but nationally, and we are here. It is beautiful. We love to give a shout out to the volunteers and the ICF crew, who are all doing the most amazing job. Hope you're all keeping hydrated and enjoying the racing.
Still on screen, 50 plus men's now. Larry Kane and Peter Weidert. Canada versus Germany at the front. Steve Miller, USA, Florida, USA. Mark Forrester, Spain. The favorites are definitely at the front, and I was saying that Daniel Pares is probably the most medaled athletes in the last 5 ICF SUP World Championships. Is the big name missing from this 50-plus competition. He basically took a year off racing. He's focusing on coaching. He's got the biggest pool of youth talents in the world over there in Santa Pola, and they're actually picking up some medals this week.
They are, and I think I've seen him here on the ground. He's looking after his crew and doing such a good job. I mean, we really want to see him back racing, but what a job he's doing with those juniors and others, and coaching is such an important thing. We talked about it a bit this year, that it is very interesting and so important to bring on those youngsters, isn't it, Rob?
It's huge, and quite honestly, it's one of the biggest issues that we have here in the U.S. of really trying to develop that kid talent. And it's the conversation that we have on almost every one of our board meetings with all our organizations in the U.S. Look at Larry Kane. He was in first. Maybe he's back in first again, but it looked like he was kind of catching a nice side draft, just trying to, pace himself. But I think Peter kind of just slowed down a little bit and said, hey, I don't want to pull this whole thing. And now Larry is, back in the lead here. They're kind of flip-flopping a little bit. It'd be fun to see how these guys play their strategy today, not just, who can grind it out. They're definitely going to play that strategy to their benefit.
Yeah, and trying to catch up with that group of 4. There's an athlete in 5th place, and I believe, I'm just going to go with a wild guess here, just because he's been racing so well these past 4 days, and I remember he was on NSP. Yaroslav Sukup might be the athlete on the NSP board, just about 15 meters behind Steve Miller and Mark Forrester. There's another cheeky athlete on their left, trying to have some clean waters to actually climb back up to the front. A starboard athlete. This could be Albert Folch from Barcelona. Actually, we know that Vincent Guillaume should actually be also in the top 10 at the front of the 50-plus.
Oh, well spotted, Matt. But look at that shot. We are seeing a part of the lake that we have not seen before. This is the long side. They've gone right round the tower, and they are heading up. And look at those 2 very distinctive giraffe trains. You've got 2 women at the front. I'm guessing that's Marie Carmen Rivera and Espe, who are actually paddling side by side. But great. I mean, if you're a beginner or intermediate paddler and you want to learn, this is the best way to learn, is by watching other people paddle, their paddle stroke drafting techniques, wouldn't you say, Rob?
Oh, 100%. And even on this course, this was where your paddle technique probably plays the biggest role. From last year, so many athletes were talking about this back stretch was just kind of like you got lost in kind of nowhere's land. There's not really a lot of landmarks other there. They're just hugging the shore, and they have to catch a buoy on the far left corner. That's what they're all shooting for right now, without going through some of those grass areas you can see right up above on your top left of your screen there. But yeah, this is kind of just the lost zone, I think, for each one of their laps, but with not a lot of artifacts to go around. Look at that triple draft train going. What a mess. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
we've got a new leader, and that is indeed the athlete from France, Iloa Echen, right next to Esperanza Barreras and Marie Carmen Rivera. We've got the VAA world champion right next to the multiple-time SUP world champion Esperanza Barreras. Let's see if Iloa Echen can stay at the front all the way to the finish line.
Oh, I'm super excited about this. She's in the VAA one. I paddle an OC one, which I absolutely love, especially on the ocean. It's made for that. But to see this woman come in as an absolute, let's call her the newbie, because that's what we call them in the UK. She is an absolute beginner, and wow, what a talent she is proving to be. She's got that crossover skill. She knows how to paddle. She knows how to read the water. And wow, we are going to see some, I think we're going to see some fireworks at the end of this race, Matt.
And I've just identified who was that starboard athlete. That was Gabor Szabo, currently sitting in 5th place behind that group, that front group of 4 paddlers led by Peter Weidert and Larry Kane. Mark Forrester from Spain on the starboard with the red hat, and it is Steve Miller on the flying fish board, of course, and just behind them it is not an NSP board anymore but a starboard, and that is Hungary with Gabor Szabo. We've got an NSP rider at the back, but it's not the one that we saw previously who was wearing a blue hat. I think that is Vincent Guillaume from France. The French coach is sitting in 6th place right now.
Look at that beautiful shot. There's two bridges right there that they have to go under. This is on the back side of the island. We do not get to see this from where we're at in the tower here, but it is a really cool little stretch that's just all natural. You can see kind of the rocks and grass around there. So they shouldn't get too much wash or feedback on that stretch, and it should be really neat to see. I'm pretty excited too to see Steve Miller in that top 4 right now. He was talking about the last couple of days his lower back and hips were really bothering him, and he almost said he was trying to pace himself through these initial races for today. So I bet he's pretty excited that he woke up this morning with enough juice to be in the top 4 right now around this first turn.
Absolutely, and painkillers are your friend, aren't they? Low-level painkillers we're talking here. A little bit of, painkillers just help you through, but really exciting to see him in 4th place. He's a great paddler. We've been watching him. He was great in the tech yesterday, and yeah, we are going back to the women here, and we lost those 2 very distinct draft trains, so looking a little bit messier at the front, but these women absolutely know what they're doing.
We have Esperanza Barreras still at the front. It looks like Eloation is decided to step back a little bit there on the NSP. She is wearing a white hat on the right-hand side, right next to Seychelles and Duna Gordillo. It is Marie Carmen right next to Esperanza Barreras. You have to know that these 2 athletes at the front are part of the same training team. They are trained by Oscar Ruiz, although one of them is from Puerto Rico and the other is from the island of Fuerteventura in Spain. They do share the same coach, who happens to be the partner of the companion of Esperanza Barreras, who's currently in the lead and defending her world title today.
Boy, yeah. Sarah, what do you think about being in the middle of that draft train right there?
I was just thinking.
I would not want to be there. I'm sure they can handle that well because they're at just a different level, but it's still an ugly area to be in.
Yeah, I wouldn't have liked to have been Seychelles there because, they were so close. You can just get the paddle in, but the way she was drifting over to the right, and, but as you say, they're the pros. We're not the ones out there on the water, but it makes it exciting viewing.
And the other thing that you're seeing here, that most individuals who haven't been in a race situation like this before, even just having 2 paddlers in front of you that you're not perfectly behind, that's creating a wash that makes it wobbly. You got to realize these individuals are only on 21-inch wide boards, which are very unstable for the average paddler, could barely even stand on them. And yet, when you have all that little crosswash in there, it can get pretty gnarly and pretty scary when you're trying to go at, their heart rates have to be at 100 and 170 beats per minute, 180, when they're topping out around these turns here, maybe even higher.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to watch these ladies go around this green buoy turn at that top corner. Let's hope we don't have any issues here because, and we have actually got an issue. And this is the perfect time to talk about what happened. Let's just see if we can see if anybody got into trouble. But we're going to talk about what happened yesterday in the Open Tech Final for those women where we had a couple of DQs. We've got a replay of that.
Wow. Look at that tech race yesterday. Marie Carmen was definitely the fastest out of the gate, but she was pushed at the first buoy. She did fall down. The judges decided that as well. And look at Natsumi Baba also falling down at the buoy number 3. Later on, that was the athlete from Japan who was sitting in 5th or 6th position by the time. That last buoy, we are back with the open women. That last buoy was actually lethal for those athletes, and we're actually coming back to what happened yesterday. Look at that
right
board,
there.
the nose of that board actually hitting the back foot of Mauri Carmen Rivera, who clearly cannot sense that.
You
was
can see
totally
Seychelles paddle over the outside of
This-
Juliet right there just to
Yeah.
try to brace herself. There's no doubt, you're watching this real time, real fast, but this will be a conversation that will last for weeks coming out of this race.
Absolutely.
Because
And
it should equal better rule decision making. And that's where we're still, in my opinion, personally, I still think we're behind on really defining right of way. We're really behind on really defining what is a DQ versus what is a time penalty, so on and so forth. So it's interesting how that's going to shape up over the next year.
as long as we don't get too many rules that it makes it just such a safe sport. We want that excitement. We want that rubbing is racing,
Absolutely.
that's fine. We want to keep that, don't we, Rob? But yeah, let's get back to the action here.
And we've got the 50-plus men's on screen. We still have our 4 leaders, but there's only 3 spots on the podium. So it will be a fierce battle between 4 top guys, and don't rule out that gentleman sitting in 5th place right now, Gabor Zabo from Hungary, probably with the long distance being his favorite disciplines. We've got Larry Kane at the front. He's on a starboard, former sprint canoe Olympian. Right next to him, the defending champion. In the middle, Peter Weidert on a hollow board from Germany. We've got right next to him Steve Miller, a smaller figure, really fast. We've seen that over the past 3 days. Steve Miller, who was on the podium yesterday. Steve Miller on the Flying Fish from Florida. We've got Mark Forrester, who's scored many podiums with the ICF over the past 4 years, from Barcelona, Spain, and Gabor Zabo just behind. It looks like Larry Kane is actually speeding up at the front right there, with Mark from Barcelona having some difficulties to keep up.
Matthew, what do you think about Gabo right now? He's in my opinion, no man's land. He hasn't caught up to this front pack, so he's working harder than everybody because he doesn't really have a draft to catch. And yet all those guys behind him, there's this huge second train of almost 9 or 10 paddlers that they're all drafting. They're conserving their energy more than Gabo, and yet he's just right in between. Oh man, another turn by the females here. Looks like everybody made it through. What do you think about that?
Well, many of those top racers are actually training individually, and they actually love just clean waters, and they don't know how to handle a draft train for some of them. So he might just be very, very comfortable there. Having said that, it looks like Peter Weidert has put the gas on and is actually accelerating right here, taking with him Larry Kane and Steve Miller, the only 2 who are able to keep up with that big surge from the German athlete. I like to call him the gentle giant. We've got 2 starboards in the chase on both sides. It is Mark Forrester now from Barcelona on the right, and Gabor Zabo from Hungary, I think, on the left, if that's still him. I don't see the blue hat that Gabor Zabo was wearing previously. I need to have a better visual on that.
That's a pretty big change right there, that they just broke free, these top 3 right here. If you lose your draft train in the beginning, sometimes that's the race for you. Many times when you can't stay on that train, and right there we've seen all 4 of them together, and now it's just 3.
And going back to Larry Kane, if you read his social media posts, he felt a little disappointed with his sprints. He was in that awful lane 8. Anyone who watched it, and please do catch up. It's all on Planet SUP YouTube channel, and you can go and watch all the clips, all the excitement, all the commentary from the team. And he was in that pretty nasty windy lane, and felt he said it is what it is. It's racing, but I think again today he's got a point to prove, and you've got that paddler coming in and going to sneak in on that draft train. As Steve Miller putting the hammer down, saying you're not coming in front of me, you can just sit behind me. So Steve Miller's looking strong, isn't he, Matty?
Absolutely, Steve looking good on that Flying Fish board. I had a good chat with John Miskaukis this morning. He was super proud of his team. 10 medals already for the Florida team. Is so chuffed that the world came to his doorstep here in Florida. The factory, the Flying Fish factory, is actually just 4 hours away, or less than 4 hours away from here. But let's go back to the 40-plus men's with Francisco Giusti from Argentina, apparently in the lead and it looks like it's a two-man show at the front of the 40-plus men's with Joep van Bakkel, the world champion in Pattaya last year, who is on the Sonova board. He's from the Netherlands. So we've got Argentina and the Netherlands at the front. Let's see how much of a gap they've got for themselves. But let's not forget, when we go back to the women, to talk about what happened at that last buoy, because that was just lethal for the field. I think we have a total change in position since we had that last buoy turn. So let's make sure we talk about that later on. Look at that big gap, though, in the 40-plus men's field with Francisco Giusti, who's really accelerating here, and only Joep van Bakkel, the world champion from 2023, is able to keep up.
You know, I'd like to talk about Joep, and I'm going to give him a shout out and also tell him I'm mad at him, because I always get next to him at the quarterfinal, and he's very fast. And that's very depressing for me.
There's nothing to be mad at.
And yet he is the nicest guy ever, and he always has this chill smile on his face. Like, he just kind of knows, like, you know, I'm just going to end up in the front.
It's the killer smile.
Yeah, don't worry about it. He's like Iceman, you know, it's so great. But he's such a great athlete, and I love being able to stand next to him on the start line. And be able to paddle with all these greats. It's very cool.
And one thing about Joep van Bakkel is he likes to transmit his knowledge, first of all, to his kids, and he likes to travel with his family all around Europe and actually worldwide for them to get a lot of experience, and really shaping with his two boys the future of SUP racing, at least in the Netherlands. Watch out for the Van Bakkels coming up in the next few years.
Yeah, and they are part of the, I think it's a Fanatic Youngblood program. So good boards for those boys. They'll have the right size boards, which is really important to encourage those. They'll have carbon race boards, again, which is such a nice thing for these youngsters to have. But look at these men.
Wow,
we've got Christian.
Yeah, the Christian Andersen right there on your screen with wearing the hat, but just behind George Fracos, who was on the podium last year in the long distance. I think this is the chase. There might be other paddlers, obviously, other athletes are getting mixed up here, but I think that's the chase. George Fracos from Greece, Christian Taher from Austria. I still haven't identified the white hat there as on the SIC Maui board.
Raihe Yoshida. Is it?
No, that's not Yohei. Yohei is not wearing a hat. That's a 4-1.
Yep.
Oh, 4-1. Yohei.
Oh, maybe the wrong class. Okay.
Interesting. 40 plus. No, that would be right. That would be right. But I didn't think. I think I saw Yohei Yoshida not wearing a hat earlier on. That's a bit of a strange one. We've got Michael Roige, though, on the Sonova right next to that SIC rider. But you're right, it is Yohei Yoshida. Numbers don't lie, and he's got the 4-1 number. We've got a starboard behind. That could be Zabolk's Fodor. That needs to also be double-checked, but we've got in our top 10 George Fracas, Christian Taher, Yohei Yoshida, Michael Roige, who was also on the podium previously. That could be Zabolk's Fodor. Where is Tim Oliver? That's also a favorite for the at least for the top 10, potentially for the podium. 419, who is 419? Zabolk's Fodor. Well spotted there, Mr. Total SUP.
You are brilliant, Matty. This is great because these are catching up and going past the tail end women, actually. So that is a natural thing, a natural progression that will happen. These the 40 plus and 50 plus men are absolutely fierce and have done multiple water sports possibly. So let's see who they will be catching up. I think that's a young lady from the open class there. So
right in front of George Fracos, yes.
Yeah.
So there's the gap behind Joep van Bakkel, and it is George Fracos in the chase in the 40-plus men's. It'd be great to see what's happening with the open women's. If production is listening to us, we would like to see who is leading the field. We had a lot of chaos at one of the buoys, Seychelles going down. and that allowed for Esperanza Barreras, Mari Carmen Rivera to actually place a huge acceleration and to break the field. I think we've got Jenny Kalmbach, who actually made her way to the front of the race in the process. I think they are here. Look at that gap, indeed, and it's a group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 athletes now in the lead, with still Esperanza Barreras, maybe Rika Okuaki at the front from Japan, Duna Gordillo, Mari Carmen Rivera. Have we lost Iloa Eishen? We have lost Iloa Eishen. I think we've got Jenny Kalmbach at the back over there, and a French athlete. Anaïs Guillaumard.
Oh, okay.
Anaïs Guillaumard in the mix. Yeah.
And Seychelles out on the left there, just
kind of out by herself a little bit, getting some clean water.
Keeping out of trouble,
yeah.
I think.
You're right about Alba Alonso Frey. She is there behind Duna Gordillo on the starboard. Well, the favorites are here. The underdog that I talked about seems that she got destabilized at that buoy turn, and I think it is Jenny Kalmbach at the back from Costa Rica. Seychelles is in there.
Juliette de Heim is there on that Infinity Ever Ready board. Duna Gordillo in 4th place, and out at the front is Espe. And on her left is Marie Carmen Rivera. And
so look at what just happened with Seychelles. She was potentially at the, is that, oh no, that's Rika.
I think it's Rika.
Okay, my bad.
Yep.
Rika's still at the front right there. Seychelles still in the back, maybe trying to catch up to the front there. Pretty amazing to see what these female paddlers are doing. They're out there crushing it. And it's interesting. I love a 10K that has a couple of these buoy turns in it. That keeps it a little more interesting at those buoy turns. And we're seeing them. They're just passing this. But this is a good start right here. Oh, yeah, look at that. Who's that?
Iloa Eishen is actually at the front. Look at that. We were wondering, is that just a slow racer that they're catching up on? No, it is Iloa Eishen at the top of your screen, just looking for some clean waters. She was actually at the front of that group of 9 racers. So it's a group of 10, actually. 10 racers at the front, but Iloa Eishen, the Vaha outrigger canoe world champion, is just on her own at the front on the left. This is just amazing. She is there and just looking to do her own thing at the front on the left-hand side.
That's incredible, because we looked at each other in shock. She surely can't have just disappeared just like that. But no, she is taking her own line, which in a race like this, over 11K, on a super hot day like this, people do not do this. They want those draft trains. They want help from the other girls. They actually work together at the beginning of the race, and we are looking at
duck
her.
Interference here.
We are looking at her paddling her own race. Absolutely, she's very distinctive in her hat. And as Matty called it, we were shocked. Where was she? Here she is doing her own thing and currently leading the race. This would be one of the biggest upsets in SUP sport history. This girl has been stand-up paddleboarding for weeks, not months, just weeks. And look at her there. Those 3 ladies must be watching her and going, what the heck is happening?
She's got a 5-meter lead over Esperanza Barreras.
She's just out there by herself, just hanging out. Like, I'm just having a Sunday stroll, and everybody else is trying to keep up right there.
You guys
wild.
do all the drafting you want. I'll just be at the front over there. Catch me if you can.
Maybe she knows that in the the 8 feet of water over there, it's just it's a smoother line.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little quicker.
I think that. And Matt said she's not used to paddling. I mean, goodness me, she'll be used to paddling in all sorts of water, sitting on her backside, but she is currently leading, and this race at the end, please do not go away. We hope you're watching from around the world. We'd love some more stats on those viewing figures on the TV channel, but you can watch it on Planet SUP too. And goodness me, we are watching this girl on the left, this young lady who is transferred over from Vaha 1. current world champion, and she is out there in the lead. And let's see what these other three ladies on the right, this other group of, I think there are 10 paddlers or 9 paddlers in this leading group for the open women. Let's see what they do. Seychelles is not drafting there. She is out to the right.
Do you want to know something scary about Iloa Aishen?
Please, we'd love to know
she's
something
not
scary.
just a VAA V1 as in one man or one woman. One paddler, craft VAA paddler. She is a long distance world champion, but she's also sprint world champion.
No.
So this athlete there at the front.
So this could be an equalizer though right here. You know, she's taking a wide turn, but Espe and on the inside there, they're all getting a really tight turn here, and now they're all back together again. Let's see if they stay close or if she takes her own line.
I think she's going to take her own line. Rob.
Seems like it's been working for her.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got Espe there in the middle. You've got Marie Carmen Rivera just a little bit behind, but she's just putting the power down and bringing herself back up there. She's got a lot to prove. From yesterday, she finished in that tech race, finished last because she had that mix-up with Seychelles. Matt.
By the way, that athlete, that outrigger canoe athlete, doesn't that remind you of a story by any chance, coming from the same country? Mr. Titouan Puyot?
Titouan, yeah,
Titouan
absolutely.
Puyot, who came out of nowhere in 2013. One of his first races on the French scene, boom, French champion. Just a few weeks later, first international race, and boom, world champion in stand-up paddling. And after that, 10 years of non-stop racing internationally, one of the best stand-up paddlers in the world. He was coming from specifically VAA outrigger paddling. And I think we've got a similar story unfolding today. We are at mid-race, and we have at the front of the race an unknown paddler on the international SUP scene. Her name is Iloa Aishen, and she's right next to the big girls, Esperanza Barreras, Marika. She's actually not on the screen. You can, all you can see right there is her back wash. You've got her right now on the screen on that NSP board, right there, right next to Marie Carmen Rivera, Rika Okuaki, is it Jenny Kalmbach here, or Duna Gordillo, Seychelles, Alba Alonso Frey. I think Jenny Kalmbach was in the mix as well.
That's the second train that we just saw right there of the females.
And hey, have they gone round once already?
Yeah, this is their first lap.
So
first lap, so
first
one
lap
more to go.
And their second.
First lap tick. But yes, that is really, really exciting. And let's give you a recap of the winners from last year. The gold medalist was Espe Barreras, and second place Kimberly Barnes and Duna Gordillo got bronze. So they are there and thereabouts, but there is this young lady, this unknown, and we see this happening, and it is very, very exciting. So
you know, we didn't
wow.
see Kim's not in our front pack. Right, she's in this a chase
heard
pack,
her name.
right? We haven't
Nope.
seen her yet today,
Nope.
so she didn't catch that first pack today.
yeah, and as you say, if you don't catch that first pack, you are on the back foot immediately.
Who have we got here? We've got the women, indeed. Rika Okuaki. Oh, is that no? That's Taryn King. Looks like Maddie Leblanc has been spotted. So that's probably the second train, indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are here at Nathan Benison Park. We are watching the distance race at the ICF SUP World Championships here in beautiful Sarasota County in Florida. The weather is beautiful. The wind is pretty calm today, and this will be a challenge.
Okay, we're going to be able to get a chance to look at the female, that buoy turn that got a little hectic. Let's see if we can get a view of this and we can catch what happened. It happened so fast. Here they are making their buoy turn. This is a replay.
So Juliette Duhaime stuck there and blocking behind them. Iloa Aishen and Seychelles. Anaïs Guillaumin has to go on the outside, but in the meantime, Esperanza Barreras, Marie Carmen pushing really hard, as well as Duna Gordillo, Alba Alonso Frey. and creating a big gap basically for, and actually to see Ilo Aishen catching up after that huge acceleration is another pretty good statement in the initial phase of that.
Looked like Seychelles had to go down to her knees right there.
Do you know, I was just going to say that, Rob. Well spotted. I think she absolutely did that very thing. Knowing what happened yesterday, knowing that she got DQ'd for a bump and a push and a whatever, we've talked about that enough, but she will have been absolutely thinking, this cannot happen to me again. So really sensibly went down to her knees. She's a strong paddler. She's caught back up with the pack. But yeah, that self-preservation. Do not DQ me again. I will not have this happening again.
She's a very
clever
It hurts
athlete.
a little bit. It's like when you're shooting darts and you start throwing too far left and then you start throwing too far right, and you're just trying to find the middle. And I think that's what she probably did there, just playing it safe. She's still in the draft train. But she's got some work to do.
She's a very clever cookie, and she knows all about racecraft, and she's a very super strong paddler. Got the most wonderful stroke as well. So yeah, it's going to be over in a whisker, this, and what we will then go to at 11 o'clock is the next group. So the long distance open men, Master 40 plus women, Master 50 plus women. They will be going off at 11, 11:05, 11:10. They will not start, I don't think, until these paddlers finish, or most of them anyway.
All right, I hope our drone pilot is following what's unfolding. We are actually following 3 races. I'm not sure what we are seeing now. We're just giving some.
Is a third draft train here in the female race.
Yeah, giving some screen time to everyone.
These paddlers out here crushing it, and you know what? This is what I love about this sport so much, is that no matter who you are, you can come to one of these races and you can show up and you can paddle with the best of the best in the world. Some would argue that that's actually the problem with our sport, but I still think it's very unique that we have that opportunity to be able to paddle with the best of the best. You can stand next to them on the start line with your heroes, and that is such a unique opportunity that quite honestly may not exist in our sport in the future as this sport hopefully continues to grow and make its way up to another level where we move to Olympics and we get things going here.
Yeah, okay, well, we are looking forward to seeing the winners today. There will be 8 more gold, silver, bronze medals being presented. The last of these, this World Championship event here, and we are hoping to get the view of what's happening in the open women. We've got a massive lake here, and the production team are doing their very best to help us out and give you the best shots that they can. Look at that, some super shots here, and we are looking at the Okay, so we are looking here at Nathan Benison Park, and you can see those Christmas decorations of the outrigger, or the paddlers on the left-hand side there. But on the right-hand side, the more important paddlers, and we can see, I'm not sure which class that is. Matt, can you have a look and see, or is it a bit of a mixture?
It looks like the 50-plus men. Actually, there's lots of people mixed up in there because we are in lap number 2 already. So we're gonna try and help our drone pilots. It would be great to put if we had actually the drone flying, and we'll just tell our production crew to stop whenever we spot something going on that is of high importance. So please fly that drone all over those athletes. We know that the top women are on the other side, so they are probably
halfway through.
3 kilometers away from the finish line, which is going to be right in front of us. So on the other side of us, we have our top women, and they actually have no one in front of them. But we are actually flying over on the opposite side. So if we have a drone on the other side, we would like to see the top women. They have no one in front of them, so they should be easy to spot. It's a tight group of 10 athletes. On the other side of the
let me tell you this, for all you
by the boat,
for all you beautiful humans that are watching and listening, this is one of the challenges that stand-up paddleboarding has. It's not a sport in a basketball court. it's hard to find individuals on a 10K course. Not only that, but there are so many amazing moving parts between cameramen, camera, video, the production crew. RHS TV is phenomenal out here today, killing it. It's just really challenging. As a matter of fact, we are commentating off a 18-inch screen, which is, really big to see, sarcasm included. And we're doing our best to see exactly what you're seeing real time. But what a great day out here. Now, Sarah, there is one thing that I need to correct. I'm going to come from the U.S. perspective of 52 degrees Fahrenheit, in my opinion, is cold, especially for Florida right now. It's officially 57 degrees. I mean, I think a lot of these athletes were wondering whether they should put long sleeve shirts and hoodies on. And, they're probably thinking this is glorious weather, that they have low humidity. They got the sunshine out there they got to deal with, but they're not 90 degrees, which is kind of the normal Florida temp.
No, absolutely. I get your point, Rob. But back home, we're in the minuses. We're in the minuses. So.
Oh, yeah. Look, you can't see this, but Steve Miller is now in front of Peter Weidert, and Larry Kane is in third in the men's division as they're coming around the backside of the island right now, which that was a neat change to see. Steve Miller has taken the front draft, or taken the front, and the two gentlemen are on the backside here. We're seeing, it looks like the second or third group right now coming around the turn, making their way around the backside. These are all incredibly amazing athletes. I'd be honored to be out there with them. And a huge shout out to every one of these gentlemen and women who are out there crushing it today, doing the best that they can to be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the 50-plus Masters men was one of the biggest fleets, wasn't it, here? And you can tell why. These athletes are super strong. They may have done crossover sports, but let's see what is happening now.
Yeah, and if the drone pilot can hear us, this is actually the second draft train. If the drone could actually go a little bit more forward, we have our top 5 men in the plus 50 category, which are Steve Miller, Peter Weidert, Larry Kane, Mark Forrester, and Gabor Szabo. This is a group of 5, and there's a little bit of a gap. 2 Infinity racers behind, as well as Vincent Guillaume. And finally,
look at this. Our females are doing the exact same thing again. Aloha just out there on her own, just hanging out.
All right, so we're seeing Jenny Kalmbach, I believe, in at the back. On that NSP board, Seychelles just in front of her, as well as Anaïs Guillaumard. We have Alba Alonso, Fred, Juliette Duhaime, Rika Okwaki, Duna Gordillo, Mari-Carmen Rivera, and Esperanza Barreras. And again, Iloa Echen, the outrigger canoe world champion, the Va'a world champion, doing her own thing on the left at the front. So we have actually 3 leaders right now, Esperanza Barreras, Mari-Carmen Rivera, and on the left-hand side, not even on your screen, she's playing Ghost. She is from France, or actually from Polynesia, French Polynesia, Iloa Echen.
And we'd love our production team to keep us on these ladies, I think, Matt, don't you think? We need to keep, they are maybe 3 kilometres from the finish, and this is going to be a very, very hot finish. You've got people who've got things to prove, you've got reigning champions, and you have got one young lady who is in on her own, and Marie-Carmen Rivera is just muscling in over to her side, maybe to give her a little heads up that who do you think you are, and I'm going to give you some dirty water, but that young lady is just looking calm, and Marie-Carmen Rivera is settling into her stride. This French woman, Iloa Echen, cannot go to the left. She can go outside those boys, Matty, I believe, but she is still remaining calm. She looks strong. She will know all about racing in high-level competition, but not about racing in high-level SUP competition.
Looks so calm, doesn't
she? Does.
She just looks so calm and collected there. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. Her stroke just is not that same fast cadence as everybody around her, and yet she's still just in the front.
And
This is
Incredible.
via style. I'm back with
Awesome.
my Titouan Pouillot analogy. This is something that I was saying for 10 years. Titouan Pouillot is sort of semi-retired right now, but for 10 years I was commentating Titouan Pouillot's technique, and he was just looking like that. Super slow, super powerful, and always very well composed. Ilo Haishen comes from that world, and she's using that paddle to steer as well as to propel herself forward very, very efficiently with fewer strokes than the other paddlers.
And I would love to know, we spoke a lot about paddles yesterday, and I would love to know what paddle she is using, because in the VAR world and OC world, they do use slightly different shapes. You can have more of a blocky one. You use that Stingray, quick blade Stingray has been designed for that. But we would love to know the paddle she is using.
Would you believe me if she has no idea about gear? She showed up, no, I'm telling you, I'm 100% serious. She showed up 3 weeks ago at the French National Championship. I was there. She just went to a friend's house. He was not racing. He borrowed his paddle. She borrowed his paddle and his board, and that happened to be an NSP board. That was Thomas Buton, actually. Bonjour, if you're watching from the south of France. Look at what you've created.
Definitely not created a monster. This is so exciting. She is still there. She's still in her own space. Look at the calmness of that water, but those girls will be thinking ahead. They have got this mini sort of island to go around.
They're about to hit this buoy
about to
turn
hit
here,
the-
which this is
Yeah,
where
yeah.
we had problems before. So let's see who plays this differently, or if they're going to play their same strategy they did before. I'm really curious too. This is kind of one of those points where a lot of times we'll see one or two athletes kind of make their pre-move before they have to go all out sprinting.
Yeah.
Just a big bottleneck. Again, the way this buoy is over in the corner, they really have to reach for it. Looks like everybody made it through.
Yeah, absolutely. Seychelles keeping out of trouble there. But Espe is absolutely just put a point across after that boy turn. She is in the lead. We've got Marie Carmen Rivera on that super fast whiplash. She's got something to prove for sure, and she has been paddling so well this year. But out on the left on her own, keeping her head down, is Aloha from France.
You know, Espe has been keeping a pretty good pace. It looks like she's had a solid pace through this whole thing, leading that. She's not passively paddling right now. She's going at it. I am curious though, who is our sleeper in the back that maybe is just relaxing, catching the draft, and is really, they're all trying to conserve their energy because they all know this is a flat water race. The only option they have is that the whole last 1 to 2K maybe even is just the temperature is going to turn up and their cadence is going to speed up. They're definitely going to be digging deep. I'm curious if there's somebody in the back who really is sitting comfortably, ready to crush it.
In that maybe three, I would say maybe three names that would correspond to that, to what you're describing here, Rob. Duna Gordillo is looking pretty strong, and we know she can accelerate. Alba Alonso Frey, definitely. She's looking very, very slow in her movement, just doing enough to stay in that draft train. And the other one would be Juliette Duhem. Now, strangely enough, just in front of Juliette, Rika Okwaki is up there in the mix, but not using at all that draft aspiration behind Esperanza Barrera. She might have heard me, but she might reposition herself just to actually paddle with less energy.
So this is really fun. Last year they could only go through that bridge on the left. This wasn't even open, so a lot of the paddlers this year were so excited to see this big open pathway they had, which was really interesting that they had to go through the bridge. It was the only option they had. So it's definitely opened up a lot, but as you're seeing on the top of your screen, you can see that green buoy again that they're going to have to hit, and that will put them, give or take, probably 2 to 2K from the finish line.
Yeah, wow. I mean, those girls have just they just sort of separated a little bit, but they now are going to that almost that last green buoy. They have to then come down the park, down the water, and then there is a green buoy, and we will then see them cut right and come through. there's our leaders there. So you can see that a current. I'm not. Yep. Marie-Carmen Rivera, Espe on her right.
Seychelles making a little bit of a move right here from the back.
Oh yeah, well she's again got stuff to prove, hasn't she? Let's hope that they get round this penultimate boy turn safely. We do not want any issues. They've sort of spread themselves out a little bit. Espe at the front there, keeping herself out of trouble. Marie-Carmen Rivera directly after her. Rika from Japan going in there. You've got Duna Gordillo, Seychelles safely on the outside, and Aloha on the really on the outside, doing her own thing. But Seychelles is pushing quietly. She will soon be in, well, she's in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6th place, but she looks pretty level with Aloha. And this is going to be exciting. They are on the final stretch. We think about 2.5K to go, maybe.
Yeah, I think we're right in that 2-ish range. But this right here is this. I think this changed right there with Espe now. Turn the heat up out of that turn really well. You know, Aloha is now, she's still on that outside line, but it looks like she's back a little further. Seychelles knows that there is not that much time left in this 11K, which I think is what it's going to shape up to be. And she's, you know, starting to say, you know what, I just need to get some clean water. I need to get out here and do my thing. And everybody else they're all just there. They're all crushing it.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to see this finish. It's going to be awesome.
2 kilometers of a straight line all the way to the finish line, and Esperanza Barreras is putting the gas on, digging deep, and she's got Marie-Carmen with her just behind her, as well as Rika Okuaki from Zamami Island, Okinawa, Japan. Look at this, yes, I see Maui, Florida girl coming from the left. Seychelles, Juliette Duhaime is trying to keep up as well as Duna Gordillo. Seychelles number 4, absolutely. Juliette in 5th, equal 5th with now Iloa Aishen, who hasn't been able to keep up yet with Esperanza Barreras. So losing a little bit of momentum after that big acceleration by Esperanza Barreras. We have then equal 5, so that would be in 6th place, or 7th place, sorry. Duna Gordillo, Alba Alonso Frey 8, and Anaïs Omar 9.
Well, but just looking at Espe at the front, you can just see that slight change. It's really subtle, but that paddle goes a little bit deeper, and you can just see the strength. She is slowly pulling away. Seychelles is just, she upped her cadence. She's just slowed down a little bit, but she's keeping that strength. It's really interesting to see the different kind of cadence. Marie-Carmen Rivera is speeding up a little bit, but yes, absolutely, Espe has now just notched it up a little bit.
And we just saw Rika, who was catching Marie-Carmen's side draft. She just fell behind her into 3rd, lost a little bit of, but you know, the person we're not talking about a lot is Marie-Carmen right there. I mean, she's been on Espe's tail the whole time. She hasn't gone anywhere. She's on that blue-purple infinity that is just awesome. My wife loves that board. And Espe, you can see, as you were saying, is just really digging deeper now. She's moving into that deeper paddle stroke. If you're new to paddling, this is a great clinic to watch right here. You can see these females are using their entire body. They are not just paddling with their arms. Their body and their back muscles and their traps are just so strong. They have such strong legs to be able to do this 11K grind. And there's no doubt a lot of these females are absolutely proficient in 15+ K grinds like this. So this is, some would argue, maybe even a short world championship distance race at 10, 11K. That was a conversation that was coming up. And yet, at the same time, it's exactly what it is. And we're going to be crowning a new winner here in the open women's division soon enough.
Something I've just noticed is Seychelles has dropped off the screen. She's just there on the left, so she has just, having pushed herself forward, she has just dropped back to 2, 4, 6, 7, 8th place. So it's really interesting to see, because she looked like she was going to push forward, but these ladies have got to go down to this green buoy, hang a slight, then go on a diagonal through the yellow buoys. I'm sure they're all well aware they've got to go through their buoys, do not get disqualified. But look at that draft train. That is a beautiful thing to see.
And the issue with that is all of a sudden she's 30, 40 meters behind the number 1, although they are going at the same pace. Looks like Iloa Aishen, though, is losing her momentum here with just 1 kilometer to go before the finish line on the NSP, sitting in about eighth place, seventh equals eighth, let's say, with Anaïs, with Seychelles or Alba Alonso Frey just in front of her.
But I mean, I don't know whether you've seen her race, Matty, but we don't know about her finish, do we? Does she have a sprint finish? She's a world champion sprint competitor in the VAR1. So let's just watch this. This is going to be hotting up, and you've got 3 very excited commentators on the mic. We will try not to talk over each other, but it is so exciting, and this is just going to hot up. We have got about 1 3/4 kilometres to go. You can see this draft train slightly snaking. They will all be trying to follow each other desperately to save that energy. You save about 30%, don't you, Matty, of energy if you are tucked behind. It's great. It's called the peloton in riding as well, in cycling.
Making their way. Actually, we're going to have probably a simultaneous finish with the 40 plus men's catching up. Francisco Giusti and Joop van Bakkel catching up with that group of 9 women athletes. We still have the Argentinian and the Dutchman, Joop van Bakkel behind Francisco. It is Leidbordkorp and Sonova at the front of the 40 plus men's race. I don't see how the chasing pack can actually challenge these two for gold and silver.
You know, if you were wondering what the men are doing, well, here we go. They're going to finish at the exact same time. We are 50 plus men. We want to see what they're doing, but I don't want to lose that front group here in the next 1 to 2 minutes. We definitely want to get back to them. And
the chasing pack right there with Christian Taher, with Ryohei Yoshida. Who is it in front? Mikel Roger from Barcelona, and that NSP board. We need to get closer, but we identified 3 of the 415 40 in the 40 plus men. Hold on a second.
But what we would really love is to get back to those open women. We can see them. We can actually see them out of our window. And there you go. Look at our production team giving us absolutely the best viewing. We really appreciate all their help, and what is a very difficult situation to try and cover all of these races. So you have got that draft train. There's a little bit. So Anaïs Guillaumache is coming up. She's dropped off actually. I think we can almost say goodbye to her for this draft train. And it looks like you've got 5 girls again breaking away. In the second group, we've got Seychelles, but you've got 5 women breaking away. I think I saw Duna as well, but let's see, we've got the boys coming.
There we go.
Trying to squeeze through that, but look at that. 4 girls actually at the front. Esperanza, you have got Marie-Carmen Rivera. Talk me through the next 2 if you can, Matt, to help.
Rika
and Juliette de Heem. So Juliette de Heem is there sitting pretty in 4th, but you have got the current world champion, Esperanza Barreras. You have got Marie-Carmen Rivera, who has got a massive point to prove. You've got Rika from Japan, who is such an exciting paddler. Great Instagram. We love what you do there, girl. And Juliette de Heem, who is also put some incredible work in this year.
The big name missing in this group is definitely Kim Barnes. She was a silver medalist in 2023. We didn't see her. She was probably in the chasing pack in the second draft train. I identified, by the way, the gentleman in the group of 4 chasing Francisco Giusti and Joop van Bakkel. It is George Fragos. Here he is on the NSP with Mikel Roger currently sitting in 3rd place, leading over Ryohei Yoshida from Japan, George Fragos from Greece in 3rd, and Christian Taher in 4th. In that group, you have to add 2 more at the front, who are Francisco Giusti and Joop van Bakkel.
Okay, so last year, this is where it really turned on. Everybody got around this buoy, and you can see if you're looking up ahead, they have to go all the way to the right side of the water. There are 2 yellow buoys that really are not that far apart, maybe only 20 yards apart. So they're making this final diagonal, and this is where it's crushing. You can see Juliette picking up her cadence right now. Ooh. She had a little bit of a staggered stance. Now she's kind of back to neutral, and this is it. This is the race right here. Let's
This
see what
is-
these 4 females can do. I can't see the second chase pack. I don't know if they're right there, but I think they've broken off. I don't know if we're going to see them come up.
I think we should stick with these ladies. We've got
Yep.
Espe looking back, just seeing what is going on. She's got to absolutely keep her heads up, and we've got the boys on the right. Let's concentrate on these ladies first. Espe in the lead. We have Marie-Carmen Rivera in second place. Rika still in third, but Juliet tried to make a push, but she's tucked back inside there. That's an awful place to finish in fourth. We want to see these girls absolutely put the hammer down. It looks like we've lost Aloha Aishen, but these girls are absolutely pushing.
Yeah, in about 2 minutes, we are going to crown our 2024 women long distance world champion. Who is going to get it after Sonny Honscheid in 2019, after Fiona Wild in 2021, Esperanza Barreras got it in 2022 and 2023. She is defending her title right now, and she is looking very strong.
She will have her whole team on that beach shouting her in. We've got a huge team from Spain, and I haven't seen Oscar here, but if not, he will be absolutely, he's here apparently. He's kept himself very, very quiet. I can't imagine that he wouldn't be here for 1 minute. But you have got Espe, the current world champion, still paddling strong, fierce, and when are they going to put the hammer down and break away? Because they are yards away from the finish line. She's looked around again. Marie-Carmen Rivera picking up the pace here. Oh my goodness, look at this girl go. She's is coming to the left of Espe, but Espe is just hanging in there strong, and Rika is again putting the hammer down. This is going to be such a tight finish. We've got Espe in the lead, Marie-Carmen Rivera on the left-hand side. She is looking super strong, but oh, Espe, look at you champion. She is so strong.
What a powerful
Absolutely.
stroke by Esperanza Barreras, just 80 meters away now from the finish line, marked by those 2 yellow buoys right in front of the finish tower of the Nathan Benderson Park. The starboard Dream Team rider Esperanza Barreras from the island of Fuerteventura, the Canary Islands, Spain, represented by the powerhouse from Spain.
That yellow buoy.
Look at Juliet de Heim, absolutely pushing for that silver medal.
Crushing it. Let's get that 4th female
wow,
in
and
the
you've got
camera.
the boys finishing at the same
just
time.
behind.
But look at that. It looks like Juliet de Heim will take. Wow. Oh,
And
the
the
boys
world
have won.
champion.
Oh, my
goodness,
God.
the men just fell in.
Okay, Esperanza Barrera, you are our new world champion. Marie-Carmen Rivera, you are our silver champion. And Juliet de Heim, what an awesome paddle.
And you,
Oh.
Van Backel, the new world champion.
Yes.
2-time world champion with that crazy
Number 5,
fall.
Seychelles.
The 2
Number
athletes.
6, Elba Alonza.
Joop Van Backel finishing first in the 40-plus men's.
And the dark horse, look at that. She's finished in 6th place. That is amazing. You had Seychelles well spotted. We were too busy looking at the boys. Well spotted, Rob. Seychelles finished in 5th. Oh my God, how exciting was that race? Please, please, please watch this on repeat. You had the 40-plus men finishing at the same time, and I think they were looking at that yellow buoy and going, we got to get inside that. And they both fell off. That was exciting, and Joop Van Backel got up and got that, and look at that. Those girls, those women, those men are absolutely exhausted. Well done, Esperanza Barreras. You are our new world champion, and so pleased for Marie-Carmen Rivera finishing in 2nd place, and a strong finish from Juliette. And in 4th place we had the lovely Rika from Japan.
What a little bit of an upset for Rika right there, getting popped off the podium right at the end. And congratulations to Juliette. We've got some other finishers if we can see them coming in.
Finishing in 3rd place in the 40-plus men's category. We're going to have a Spaniard on the podium wearing the bronze medal, Miquel Roger from Barcelona, Spain, on that flying fish board, reaching the finish line in 3rd place. George Fracas just behind him in 4th, with Yohei Yoshida, the 2-time world champion in 2024 in the sprints and the technical race, finishing in 5th place. Here comes Kim Barnes for the Open women, with another flying fish athlete, Lucia Klemboski from Argentina. Kristen Towers just crossing the line in, I think, 6th place in the men's. And we've got Susak Molinaro now crossing the line as well. Here comes Natsumi Baba. She was another underdog. Here she comes from Japan.
Wow, this is so exciting. We are all standing up in the commentary. We're actually watching it live on the water. Matt, can you see who else is coming in? We've got a whole group of people coming in. So we've got the 40
looks like
plus.
This is Kim Barnes right here. Coming through right here.
Look at all those paddlers sitting there waiting, watching their you've got some epic racing finishing here. So
wow. Woo. Okay, well, if you did not catch all that, because talk about the mess that just occurred, that was incredible. If you can look at this, look at all these boards right here at the finish line. I mean, it's just a hot mess going on here. You absolutely need to watch that one on replay, and don't sit down yet, because the 50-plus men are really right behind. We're trying to catch up with them to see what's happening, to see with our master of disaster, Larry Kane, and Peter Weidert, and we've got Steve Miller. We're all in the front.
If the drone pilot, if the production is listening to us, we are looking for a Porsche looking board, red and black. It should be on the final stretch of water, probably a group of 2 or 3 athletes at the front. We had a group of 5 the last time we checked, with Peter Weidert, Steve Miller, Larry Kane, Mark Forrester, and Gabor Szabo in the top 5 in the 50-plus men's. Let's see if Peter Weidert can pick up a gold medal again in 2024.
it is crazy. We have to give a shout out to that young lady again, defending champion Esperanza Barreras, who has just won the gold medal. She is now the world champion. What an epic race, and so pleased for Juliet coming in third. Marie Carmen, well done, young lady. You got second place, silver medal. What a great ride. There's so many paddlers finishing here, and an absolute jumble of open women, 40-plus men, 50-plus men, but you've got women finishing here, and we are just trying to find those 50-plus men, the first, second place that will come in, first, second and third. But you have got some big old celebrations going down there just after the finish line. These ladies have worked hard in steamy conditions for Britain, for sure, but pretty cool conditions here in the USA.
I just saw Kate McElroy come across the finish line a minute ago. She's riding on a goat boater. Infinity Whip.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we found our front boys in the 50-plus men's division. 3 athletes at the front. It is now Peter Weidert, Gabor Szabo, and Steve Miller. Not in that order, actually. Steve Miller has got a slight advantage over Peter Weidert right there, the flying fish athlete from Florida, the gentle giant from Germany on the Holo Lightboard Corp, and the starboard rider from Hungary, Gabor Szabo. Mark Forrester is currently sitting in 4th from Barcelona, Spain.
And if you ever say to someone that you are too tall, too thin, too fat, too short to race, look at the different shapes and sizes of these 3 men. Look at that go. Look at him go. He's
Gabor Szabo.
Gabor has put the hammer down, and he really wants this. You've got Peter Weidert out there and Steve Miller, all completely different shaped athletes. Gabor Szabo has absolutely taken that lead, wants to get round this last green buoy, and they will then head diagonally to the finish line, where you've still got a huge amount of paddlers sitting, celebrating. That was just the most exciting to see those 2 classes finish at the same time. Matty, concentrating on the women and seeing Juliet come up to take 3rd, and then you had the 2 men who fell at the last, and won by Joop van Bakkel.
Yeah. You know, looking right here, we see there are 3 men, but where's Larry Kane?
Oh, good question, Rob. Hopefully he's not at the front. I mean, hopefully that would be a good news for him, but that would mean we would be missing out on him. I don't think he is in front of those 3 athletes. He must have dropped in the last 2 or 3 kilometers, because in 5th place behind Mark Forrester, I did recognize Vincent Guillaume, the French coach from Brittany in 5th place. So big question for us right now, where is Larry Kane? Has he overtaken these 3 athletes and is actually leading the race? We don't think so. Because we've got the standing world champion right there in the middle of your, at the bottom of your screen, Peter Weidert, on that red and black board. On his left, so on your right, Steve Miller from Flying Fish. And on the other side, it is Gabor Szabo from Hungary. And they are 300 meters away from finishing. So let's make sure we now stick with them. 300 meters away from the finish line. We have our top finishers for the 50-plus men's long distance race. In about 1.5 minutes, we should have a new world champion.
And we are looking, there we go, thank you so much. We have got Peter Weidert in the middle, Steve Miller on his left. Goodness me, this is going to be a super tight race. We hope we don't have any fallers. Please keep on your boards, gentlemen. But they are looking super strong. Look at those guys. They are not going to want to give it up.
Look at Steve picking up his cadence now.
And Peter too,
you know,
actually.
Steve has been at our Goat Boater races.
Whoa,
and
look at this.
Steve has such a fast cadence. It always blows my mind what he can do on a 10K. But yet he pushed, and Peter pushed right back, and now they're all in sprint mode at this point. They have 200 meters to the finish, and they're going to sprint it all the way out. Let's see who has any
but
gas.
who is the sprint world champion?
Yep.
He is right there at the front, Peter Weidert, on the hollow light board corp. The Porsche-looking board is still in the lead. Peter Weidert from Germany. It looks like Steve Miller is taking 2nd place right now, with Gabor Szabo on the outside, closer to the finish tower. Peter Weidert still leading. Steve Miller trying to give his 200% to try and overtake the gentle giant. He is actually getting some ground. We still have 20 meters to go. It is still Peter Weidert at the front. The 2024 long distance world champion is from Germany. His name is Peter Weidert. 2nd, Steve Miller. 3rd, Gabor Szabo, Hungary. And here comes in 4th place, Mark Forrester from Barcelona, Spain, just ahead of Vincent Guillaume from France. Well done, Peter Weidert, our new 2024 50-plus men's long distance world champion.
Wow, and congrats to all 3 of them, just crushing that sprint right there after 10K worth of grind. Pretty
Absolutely.
Awesome. And we have found Larry Kane. Here we go.
Oh, and Steve Miller absolutely tried that signature move of pushing that ball with his feet forward, but it just wasn't enough. Peter Weidert absolutely had that from you, Steve. I'm afraid he's the new world champion. But here we go. Coming up is this young Larry Kane here with a yellow cap on.
And
look at that stroke, just still grinding it out.
And another starboard next to him. Not sure who that is. Maybe, yeah, not sure who that is. We haven't seen his number yet. But Larry Kane finishing in 6th place in this long distance. Peter Weidert has done it again, ladies and gentlemen. The gentle giant, Lightboard Corp representative from Germany, is the 2024 world champion. So we have our new world champions indeed, with Peter Weidert in the 50-plus men's division, with Joep van Bakel. What a surprising finish after that Argentinian leading all the way to just 10 meters before the finish line, and that incredible fall. We might see the replay actually in a few moments of that incredible fall. It took them actually something like 30 seconds to recover from that fall, and Joep van Bakel crossed the finish line in 1st place, basically taking for the 2nd time in a row the gold medal in the long distance. And